Hi, I'm Lilu and today I'm going to show you how to customize your price and information guide. So the first thing that I like to do when I jump in InDesign is change my workspace. And you can do that by going up to this area that says Essentials. And I like to change mine to Book. And that's because there are a lot more tab options on the right hand side now. So I recommend doing that. Next up, I want to show you Pages. If Pages isn't already loaded on the right hand side, just go to Windows and select Pages, just here. So first up there is this page called None, and then there's this one called A Master. So I'm just going to double click on that one. So what a master page is, it's a design that can be placed on any of the pages within your document. So this is called A Master. And you can see throughout the document that there are several pages that have the letter A on them. That means that this design has been placed into these pages. I'm just going to press W, and that's going to bring up the ruler lines and the margin and the text boxes. And if I press that again, they'll disappear. So I'm going to click on the About page. And you'll see again that it's got the background color that was in the master, the text on the side, and then this page number here. If I try and click on any of those items that are in the master page, I won't be able to. And that's because these elements aren't actually a part of this particular page. They're all part of the A master. So I'm going to click back on there. I'm going to change the background color of the A master so we can see how that affects the document. So I'm just going to double click this because it actually isn't a color, it's an image. So I'll just delete that image, and underneath is a background color. I'm going to change that to orange, then click back onto the pages, and you'll see now all the pages that have the letter A are now orange. This is a really good way to edit your price guide because it means that you can make changes to your document really quickly because, as I said, it will affect most of the pages except for the cover and the back page. So I just undid those changes. If you'd like to add a page to your document, you can either drag in the A master, and that will place a page within the document that has the master design there, or you can drag in None, and that is a page that has no design on it. And if you'd like to delete any pages, you can either press Control, click, select Delete, or drag your page down into the trash can. Another way you can create extra pages within your document is by duplicating pages. And I recommend this if you'd like to add more pages because then you're not starting your design from scratch. So if I like this design here, the business philosophy page, and I wanted to duplicate it, what I would do is press Option or Alt, drag that page out until that line appears, let go of it, and now you'll see it's below the page that we were already on. I can then move that page about the document just by dragging it and placing it. You can do that with any pages within the document, move them around however you like. Next up, I'm going to show you how to change the fonts within the document. So I'm going to go over to Character. If you don't see it on your right hand sidebar, simply go to Windows, go to Type in Tables, and select Character. So if I click on this text box, I can just go into these fonts and change it to whatever I like, and then change the settings here. This is quite a tedious way to change all the fonts within your document because you're going to have to go around and change every single text box to the font that you would like. What I recommend doing instead is going to Paragraph Styles. And if you don't see it on the right hand side, just go to Window and select Paragraph Styles from Styles. what paragraph styles is, it's groups that we've created of text that are all the same. So right now we've selected the body copy, and you'll see over here it's called paragraph. But if I click on this text box, now it's bumped to title. So I'm going to click back on the body copy and then double click this highlighted tab. It's opened up this dialog box, and I'm going to select basic character formats, and I'm going to change the font in there. Really doesn't matter which one I choose. Let's just choose hand letter, and then I'm going to make this quite large. And also you can change the character color over here. I'm just going to make it bright orange so you can see it as an obvious change, and press OK. You'll see now that the font has changed in that text box, but if I scroll through the document now, it's actually changed that font throughout the whole document. I'm just going to undo that because that is really ugly font. Yeah, so that's really how I recommend you change the fonts throughout your document. And if you already have a brand, hopefully you have a heading font, subheading, and a body copy font, and you can just load your brand fonts in there by double clicking on each of these tabs. If you'd like to put your own text box within the document, just go over to the left-hand side, select the type tool, and then drag out a text box, and you can start typing in there. Next up, I'm going to show you how to customize the colors within your document. So I'm just going to find a color block. I'll click on this one here, and then I'm going to go to swatches. If swatches isn't loaded on the right hand side, just go to Windows, Color, and then you'll find swatches here. So you'll see that there are 5 different colors within this document. If I double click on these colors and change the color, then it's going to change that color throughout the whole document. So I'm going to do that now with the orange, just so we can have a look. So in this dialog box, you can either place in your brand color hex key there, or you can use these dials to create your own color. So I'm just going to make it this really, this neon green color, and you can also press preview as well, and that's going to show you what that color looks like within the document before you press OK. So now you'll see that that color has changed in your swatches, and when we scroll throughout the document, I'm just going to press W now as well so we can switch to preview mode without the text boxes and the margins. You'll see that that color now appears throughout the whole document. If you'd like to add swatches to this area, just simply go over to this square box, double click, create the color that you would like or put in your hex key, and then press Add RGB Swatch. So I'm going to do that several times so we can add some swatches. And then press OK. If you would like your color block to become an outline rather than a block filled in, that's easy to do. Go over to this area here and just press on these arrows to change between. If you'd like to change the stroke of your outline, go up to stroke and you can change the weight here. If you can't see stroke on the right hand side, just go to Windows and stroke's just there. To change the font color within your document, if I select a text box and then choose a color, you will notice that it's actually filled the text box instead of changing the color of the font. So what you want to do instead is when you've selected your text box, you need to press this little letter T here. And then we can go ahead and change the color of that font. Another thing that I would like to add is that you can change the, I might actually just choose this one. You can change the tint of a color. And what that does is when you pull this dial down, it's adding more white to the color. And this is a good way to add variations of a color within your document. And what it does as well, it only affects the object that you have selected. It's not going to change this neon green to this pale green throughout the document. It's just the object that we've selected. So that's a good way to add different tints throughout your document. The last thing that I want to mention is, as I said before, the background color in this document is actually a texture. I'm just going to zoom in there. And as you can see, there is noise added to the color. This isn't something that we were able to produce in InDesign. Instead, it is a Photoshop file that you'll find within your price guide folders. And you can either change the color of this textured image in Photoshop, or if you would like to change just simply the color and remove the texture within InDesign, just delete that image. I'm in the master now, and I'm just going to delete that image. There's already color in the background, and then you can go ahead and add a different color. So I've done that now. Next thing I'm going to talk you through is placing in images. So we've got these placeholder images throughout the document, and what you want to do is select that image and then head to links. One thing that I want to mention about placing images within InDesign is that it's quite different from Photoshop in that when you place an image in the document, it's not embedded in there. Instead, InDesign constantly links that image within the document to the image on your computer or on your hard drive. So ideally, you will put all of the images that you'd like to have in your document in one folder before placing them in InDesign, so then InDesign can go back and easily find those images. Or you can package your file as well, your document as well, which I'll show you a little later, and that's going to put all your images in the same place. So that's why this area is called links, because again, it's not actual images that are in your document, it's all just links to images that are outside your document. So these are kind of just like previews in here. So to replace this image with a different one, you want to press this little link tab down here, this little link button. And now I've just been taken to my Finder, and I'm going to select this image, press open, and now it's being replaced. InDesign has two kind of boxes for an image, and one is an outside box that is a crop area. So as I drag in this box, you'll notice that it's not actually changing the size of the actual image on the outside. We're not scaling it, we're just cropping the image. If I want to change the actual size of the whole image, I'll have to double click the image box. Then you'll see that there's a red box around the outside, and pull that in. I'm just going to press shift so then it scales proportionally and pull that in. I'm going to press W again so that we can see the image box on the outside. So another way that you can fill your image box is by using these two options here. And one fills the whole image box, and the other one here, I'll just make it a little bit smaller so it's easy to tell. The other one here is going to fit the whole image, including the area that's currently cropped out, into that image box. If you like the shape of your image box now, like this, but you'd want it to be a little bit smaller or larger, you can do that by pressing Shift Command or Shift Window and simply scaling it like that. This can also be done with text. Another way you can place in images is by opening your Finder, choosing your image, and then simply dragging it to where an image box already appears. So let's just build that in there, and like I said before, you can use these two icons. If you'd like to create a new image box, you can go over to this little icon here, the box with the cross through it, and just create the size that you would like. Just going to delete that. Next up, I'm going to show you hyperlinks. And this is especially important to your contents page. So you'll see how these text boxes on the contents page have a little dotted line around them. What that is telling me is that it's not a normal text box, that it instead is a text box with a hyperlink. So I'm going to open my Hyperlinks tab. If you don't see it on the right hand side, go to Windows, Interactive, then select Hyperlinks. So I've selected the About text box, and now this About is highlighted in my hyperlinks. And if I double click that, it takes me to this dialog box, and here it's telling me that when this About text is clicked, then it's going to bump me to page 4. So this is really important to remember if you're adding or deleting or moving about pages within your price guide, to not only change the page numbers here, but to also change the hyperlinks here. So I'm just going to press OK. And you won't be able to access and view this hyperlink until you export. It's not interactive until you do that. So at the moment right now, when we click these text boxes, we're not being bumped to a page, but that's simply because it happens after we export. Another hyperlink that you can create is for your website and your socials. So if I highlight my website, I can then type in my website over here. I'm just going to misspell it to show you something. So now I've typed in my website, and you can see here that this little light, it appears red, and that's telling me that that website is not properly linked. So I'll correct it up here. And now when I press enter, this light, it's turned green. And to double check that, you can actually click on there, and I can now see that that link works, and I've been taken to my website. So you can do that to your socials here as well, and that text is also on your back page, so you might like to do that there. Alright, so last up I'm going to talk about saving and exporting. So hopefully while customizing your document, you've been saving it along the way, of course. But another thing that I want to mention as well is to package your document. And what packaging does is it will gather all of the images within your document, and it's going to place it in one folder with an InDesign file ready to open. And when you package it, InDesign can instantly find all of your image links without any trouble. So I recommend doing that, especially if you have images from different parts of your computer and your hard drive. It will duplicate the images as well. You're not going to lose the original position, original place of those images. So they'll duplicate, go in a folder, and it'll just be much easier for you to locate all those files again, all those links. And if you're ready and you've customized everything that you would like in your price and information guide, go over the checklist that's in your folder as well, and just check that you have made all the recommended customizations, and then we'll head to export. So just go to File, and Export is right here. And what you want the format to be is an Adobe PDF Interactive. Mine's defaulted to that, but if your format does not say the Interactive Adobe PDF, you can just choose it from this tab here. So I'm going to press Save. In this dialog box, there's a few things we need to check, and that is that Pages say All, Export as Pages is ticked, and Forms and Media say Include All. Next I'm going to go to Compression, and you want the compression to be JPEG lossy, the JPEG quality to be high, and resolution I like to put at 200 ppi. With your PDF, you want the file size to not be very large, because you'll probably be emailing it or it will be embedded into a website. So you don't want to cause a long download time. But also, as a photographer, you don't want your images to be pixelated. And I find that these settings work best as kind of a happy medium. So then from there, just press Export. And this will just take a minute to generate the PDF. But I'm just going to press Cancel because you don't need to see that. One last thing as well before I let you guys go, and I forgot to mention, was before you export your PDF, there's this little area down here that says No Errors, and it is green. And that means that everything's linked up, all your text looks good, and that you're ready to export. I'll just change this text box, and you're going to see that area change. So now it says 1 error, and that light now has gone green. I'm going to bump away from that page just to show you guys something. So I'll double click that area, and now this dialog box that says pre-flight has appeared. I'm going to click through these group sections, and it says text frame here 25, so it's telling me that there is a text frame error on page 25, and if I double click on here, it bumps me to exactly where that error is, and you'll see the text box has this little red plus, and that means that there is text in that area that is extending past this cropped text box. So I'll pull that back out, checking, it's now gone green, says no errors, and you're ready to export. Alright, I hope you enjoyed customizing your price and information guide. If you have any questions at all, you can email me at lilu@liludesign.com.au, or you can go to my website bylilu.com.au. Alright, see you later guys.